This week in Jamaica Now, how a Westmoreland teen overpowered a masked gunman who turned out to be her brother.
I remember back in my room, I tell my girlfriend, say like, them are kill mommy and daddy. Then I grab my fan, go in there and throw it at him.
September 18 trial for cops charged in connection with the death of Mario Dean. PNP General Secretary taking the government to court over the National ID System Act. 2 dead, 7 injured in Melrose crash.
We just came upon a horrific accident on ending Melrose bypass, a truck, trailer, 4 vehicles.
Riverton farmer reeling after 5-day tire fire that also left some people ill. And from Gully to principal, the rise of educator Arlene Bernard. I'm Damian Mitchell and this is Jamaica Now. A Westmoreland man is now in police custody facing charges of murder, illegal possession of firearm and ammunition among other offenses following a bizarre attack on his family this week. As TVJ News reported, the masked gunman turned up at the family home and shot a family friend who had opened the door to investigate who was there. He then proceeded to the parents' room where an 18-year-old girl wrestled with him for some time, not knowing who he was.
He started biting me in my back. Then I bite onto the finger that he had on the gun, you know. Start bite him and did a fight until me finally just take the gun out of him hand. Me and daddy just take it out of him hand and him just back a little and then run off. Daddy said, Jesus Christ, you really do this?
The 3 police personnel facing multiple charges in connection with the 2014 death of Mario Dean will stand trial in the St. James Circuit Court on September 18. Corporal Elaine Stewart and District Constables Juliana Clevon and Marlon Grant were given the new court date when they appeared before Parish Judge Sandra Wong Small this week. The 3 cops were also offered bail in the sum of $400,000 ahead of their appearances in the St. James Circuit Court. They must provide up to 3 sureties and were instructed to surrender their travel documents. Stewart, Clevon, and Grant were charged with manslaughter, misconduct of a public office, and perverting the course of justice. On August 3, 2014, they were on duty at the Barnett Street Police lockup in Montego Bay when Mario Dean was beaten unconsciously, allegedly by other inmates in a cell. Dean later died at the Cornwall Regional Hospital. Meanwhile, former police constable 54-year-old Walter Spike is to be sentenced on June 8 after pleading guilty to manslaughter for fatally shooting a 9-year-old girl while chasing a suspect in the inner-city community of Majestic Gardens nearly 15 years ago. His attorney, Peter Champney, said Spike took the decision to plead guilty even though he was advised that he had a reasonable prospect of success at trial. Champney said the constable gave him written instructions indicating that because of his religious beliefs now held, he could not, in all good conscience, contest the case. 9-year-old Renee Lyons died after she was struck by a bullet Spike fired at a suspect he was chasing in the Majestic Gardens community on July 23, 2003. The People's National Party General Secretary Julian Robinson is taking the government to court over the National Identification System, the NIDS Act. The matter has been set for June 8 in the Supreme Court. Robinson is claiming that the act breaches 6 constitutional rights: the right to security of the person, the right to equality of the person, the right to privacy, the right to a passport, the right to protection of property rights, and the right to due process. Robinson is seeking a declaration from the court that the controversial sections of the NIDS Act are null and void and should be struck down. He insisted that the opposition supports a national ID system, but maintains that it must protect the rights of the people. The government has called the opposition obstructionists, saying they are aiming to undermine the act, but Robinson has rejected that claim. There were more road deaths this week despite appeals for increased caution on the roads. Fabian Edwards of a Kingston 20 address and Christopher Pengele of a Waterford St. Catherine address were crushed to death and 7 others injured after the driver of a truck laden with sand lost control of the vehicle heading down the Melrose bypass. The truck transporting the sand slammed into another truck before overturning, hitting into a Toyota Hilux and a minivan. The 2 men who died were traveling in the minivan.
Lose a 151 hog, 25 pregnant.
A corporate area farmer is trying to pick up the pieces after a massive tire fire that raged for more than 5 days in Riverton, St. Andrew this week. It is believed that the fire was deliberately set. The smoke severely affected businesses near Riverton City and also left some people with respiratory and other illnesses.
It's getting worse now. We have to close the store because of the smoke. Not only the smoke, it's what's in the smoke. It's very bad on the eyes. Plus, you know, it's suffocating.
The staff has not been well, or asthmatics, we had to send them home early, and it seems as if today it's not getting any better.
And among the top stories for Gleaner Online readers this week, from Gully to principal, it details how Arlene Bernard rose from a most difficult childhood, sleeping in a gully one night, to becoming the principal of the Maranatha Basic School in Waterhouse, St. Andrew. Bernard said despite a difficult childhood, life became even more challenging after having 2 children at age 23.
I came to Maranatha. They were having a crusade. I got saved then. After I got saved the night, I decided that, all right, I'm going to leave that job down by downtown. The basic school started, and they wanted somebody to tidy the place. She was a friend. When I was in the world, we partied together and stuff like that. She ended up being the principal because she got saved too. She asked me, will you come and help out and tidy up? I said, no, I don't have a problem. I went the Monday morning. She said, they don't have much money. It's just $1,500 for the week. I said, all right, I will take it.
That was the turning point for Bernard, who now heads the top basic school in the region. To read her full story, log on to jamaica-gleaner.com and enter the words Gully Principal in the search bar. And that's it for this edition of Jamaica Now, your weekly review of the big news stories. Send us your comments at onlinefeedback@gleanerjm.com. You may tune in to Power 106 FM for regular updates. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Jamaica Gleaner and on Facebook at Gleaner Jamaica. I'm Damian Mitchell, and before we go, more on that bizarre story of a teen girl overpowering a gunman who turned out to be her brother.
My little brother said he heard a sound out here, and Marcus, that's the guy who got shot, opened the door and say, what that, who that? And that time, the gunman shoot him in his mouth. Me jump at him and start wrestling with him and grab onto the hand when you have the gun in. And we wrestle down to the floor. And then he put the gun at my head, like he overpowered me and put the gun at my head. And I lean like that. And he fired a shot. He started biting me in my back. Then I bite onto the finger that he had on the gun, you know. Start biting him and did a fight until me finally just take the gun out of him hand. Me and Daddy just take it out of him hand and him just back a little and then run off. Daddy said, Jesus Christ, you really do this?